Okay, hello everyone. How are you? Okay. Hey, Danny. And now it's Danielle. She's all sophisticated now. All right. Thank you for coming to From Frustration to Freedom. And there's a lot in store. There's a lot of information to cover. And then there's going to be a bunch of clearings going on. Those people that have never worked with me before, you're going to find out what that's all about. But it's going to be very interactive as we go along. And oh, you know what? I should get the recording going now. Everything I just said didn't go on the recording. Look at that. Okay. So we're going to get started. And I feel like I should be telling you guys something, but you know what? I'm just going to get the presentation going. If I can find it. There it is. All right. So I know some of you are still arriving, but we're going to get right into these stories. So, not enough. So, talking about situations of going from frustration to freedom. This happened just a couple months ago. I was working with a client, and her issue was she runs a grief recovery program. So she does one on one coaching with people that have been through severe grief or trauma and gets them back to where they should be. And the amount of people she was getting was usually around 4 people a month, which is a good living for her. I think it was like $2,000 for the program, maybe a little bit more. So that many people gives you a good income, stable. You're paying your bills, you're doing your thing. But she wanted more because she wanted some more freedom. She wanted more money flow. She wanted to be able to buy all the things she wanted. But she couldn't get past 4, and she couldn't figure out why. So she tried different promotions. She tried working with coaches. Nothing was happening. And she was just in this place of frustration. Why can't I get past 4? And so when I started working with her, we found out that she had this underlying belief that if she went past 4, it wouldn't be 5 or 6 or 7, which was her sweet spot, 6 or 7 people a month. It would be 10 or 15 or 25. And that's just overwhelm. She can't handle that many people. But at the same time, you might be thinking, well, she can just tell them no and just stop at 7. They're coming to her about grief and trauma. She would feel like crap if she said no to these people. So, in her unconscious mind, she'd set this threshold of 4. She didn't know it was there. She didn't know why it was 4 and not 5 or 6. It just was 4. And any more would lead to overwhelm or guilt for turning people away. And when I made her aware of that and we changed her opinion on the thing. So if there were a lot of people coming in, she could always just farm them out to other grief recovery specialists and get a commission, right? So then she could still be making money and not work on people. So people don't have to get left behind. Then things just opened up for her. Like you could just see the relief in her body, which you're going to see in the participants of today's webinar as we get further into the program. And then by that afternoon, she was at 5 clients. By the next week, she was at 6 clients for the month. And now she's consistently getting their 6 and 7 clients a month. And this is interesting because she didn't change anything in her business. She just changed where she was mentally. She got rid of that block that was there that she didn't even know she had. And now she's in a different place. She's happy. There's no frustration anymore. And this is what we're going to be looking at during this workshop. So for some people, you have to take steps to change things. But oftentimes, just the shift in mindset can cause your business to change. And if you are frustrated in your business now, or if you are one of the people that wants to start a business but is worried about what's going to happen in that business, we're going to be covering all that. But my goal here is to make sure if you're in frustration, you're going to be out of it, or at least have less of it by the time we're done. Or if you're worried about starting your own business and the frustration that might result in it, we're going to give you the tools to minimize that frustration. Now, I can tell you right now, we're not going to eliminate it because it comes up now and then, right? I live a life where I am in flow a lot of the time, but there's still frustration that comes up, okay? It's just part of life. But when you learn how to handle it, things flow. When you learn that you don't need it, and this is the thing, many of you watching right now think you need it. And I'm going to show you why you think you need it and how to get out of it. So that's what's going to be happening today. Just want to see. Got a couple chats. Will the observers be visible here? Oh, okay. Okay. Close that up. All right. So another story, identity crisis. So this was actually about someone that wanted to start a business. So she was working full-time and she wanted to start her practice. And when I was talking to her, she wanted to start a massage therapy practice. When I was talking to her, she said, well, you know, I'm working my full-time hours now and I've got a couple clients for massage. So eventually I'm going to be a full-time massage therapist. And I'm like, oh, that's interesting. So you're not a massage therapist now? She goes, well, no, because my income's coming from my job. I'm like, okay, but you're saying you're not a massage therapist. Well, she said, well, I told you the income's coming from the job. So that's where I am right now. I want to be a massage therapist. I want to move to that. And I said, listen, as long as you don't think you're a massage therapist, you're not going to make money as a massage therapist. What you are right now is a massage therapist, and that job is your side job. It just happens that your side job is giving you most of your money right now. And she said, but if it's giving me most of my money, it's not my side job, it's my full-time job. That's where I've been working for years. It's a solid income, it's a reliable income, but the new job isn't. And I said, yeah, and as long as you think that, that is the reality you're going to create. So I want you to stop thinking that that's what you do and that now you're a massage therapist. And she argued with me. We argued for about 20 minutes. I'm not like, I want to be, I'm building it. It's my dream, but I'm not there yet. And finally I got it to places like, okay, I get it. I'm a massage therapist. And even though I'm only seeing a little bit of money from massage therapy, that's what I'm doing. And the other stuff is just extra money, that's gravy. And when more and more money starts coming in from my massage therapy practice, that's all just extra money that I can spend, not the money that I have to rely on. I'm like, there we go, we're getting it. And she calls me 2 days later, and there was a clinic in downtown Toronto, this place called Yorkville, which is like the ritzy area in Toronto, downtown Toronto. They got in contact with her to do freelance work with them a few days a week. And so, you know, it's the ritzy part. So that's high pay for clients are paying and the massage therapists get paid. And she calls me, she says, so this just happened. I'm going in, and that was just for the interview, but she got it. And I said, so cool. Now you're moving along. And she goes, but I didn't contact them. I don't know how they got my contact information. They just called me. And I'm like, yeah, but you're in that place now. So this happens. These magical pieces of serendipity just show up. And so she ended up working at that place, working at another place. The combined salary was more than the original job. And what was interesting was that she was now making a few $1,000s a month more doing massage than her original job, but she was holding on to the original job. And that was another place of frustration, because it's like, well, if I cut the original job, I cut all that money. But I'm like, but if you don't cut it, you can't expand in massage. You've already created more frustration in your life and you don't need to. But, you know, if you've got a source of income that's been steady, giving you several $1,000s a month for years, it feels hard to let go of it. And that's a big thing right now for the people that are full-time. That's like, this is my safety net. This is the thing that keeps me going. This is security for me. And yes, I want to start my own business. Yes, I want to be my own boss. But what happens when I give up what I've decided is stability? The first step, though, is this piece of identity, identifying yourself as the job you want, not the job, but the person doing that job you want, being in that career. I don't think you actually want to be the job. That would be weird. Okay. Good enough. Here's another thing. This is a big thing when you're doing entrepreneurship, when you're starting your own business. Am I good enough? What if I'm not good enough? What's going to happen? What are people going to think? And I was working with a client that was doing, she wanted to do Reiki and energy healing and things like that. And she put herself out there for a few years and she wasn't getting any clients. And so, of course, I'm asking, well, why don't you want clients? And she's like, I want clients. What are you talking about? I started the business. I want clients. And I said, listen, if you really wanted clients, you'd have clients. That's just how it works. So let's figure out why you don't want clients. And then when we started talking about it, I said, well, what happens when you work with a client? He said, well, I do my work and people I've practiced on, they see results, they feel better. There's been some spontaneous healing. It's been really cool. And I said, okay, what happens when you charge for that? And I just see her whole body get tense. Oh, now money's involved. So when she was doing the healing for free, it's fine. But when people were paying her, suddenly she's on the hook. She has to have results. She has to make sure she does it right. And all this pressure came up from her subconscious. And that was just the tip of the iceberg because then I said, okay, so now they're paying you, so you've got to do it right. And so what if you work with someone and you have a session, but it's not an amazing session? Can you have okay sessions? And I could just see her, she was like shaking her head, go, no, because what if they don't give me a good review? What are they going to say? And I said, so all your reviews have to be 5 stars? And she's like, well, what if they don't give me a good review? Then what's going to happen? So, I'm telling you, look how we're uncovering all the reasons you don't want clients right now. For a little while ago, you're like, absolutely, I want clients. And now you're like, no, I can only have clients as long as I'm not on the hook because of the payment, and as long as I get perfect results from them. And then it's okay. And I said, if you're putting all these conditions on what clients you can work with, chances are you're just going to say, you know what, if there's any chance, this is what's going on in your unconscious mind. If there's any chance that I don't hit all these requirements I've set for that perfect session with every client, then I don't want that client to show up. And that ends up being 100% of the clients. Yeah. And this is the thing. When you're working with people, it doesn't matter what profession you are. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes they like your product. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they love your service. Sometimes they don't. But if you are holding back because it has to be amazing all the time, you are holding back your entire business. You are minimizing the amount of clients you get. When you're willing to have people not be satisfied with your work, right? The goal is for them to be satisfied with your work, but you are willing to have them not satisfied. There's a big difference there. Then that means more people can show up. Yeah. And your business can grow in a big ways. One thing I've found with a lot of people is they're afraid of reviews. They're afraid of the opinions of other people. They're afraid of people talking about them and someone saying, oh, I worked with them, they sucked, or I didn't really like their product, or, they were okay. Like even that, they were okay. If you're worried about those kinds of reviews, you're going to keep your business small. You're not going to start your business. So when I got her out of that, it was just funny because we finished the session and then I get a phone call like 10 minutes later and she goes, I got a client. And I'm like, really? And she goes, yeah, it was on a post I put on a job board 2 years ago that no one's ever responded to. And someone just contacted me and they want to book a session. I'm like, wow, see what happens when you shift these things. So this is the kind of thing that can happen, right? When you start to shift your beliefs, these miracles and magic can show up. And it doesn't always show up like that. Sometimes it shows up as a belief gets shifted and suddenly you have an idea of this is what you can do to improve your business. You implement that and it goes. Or you shift a belief and then the next time you're browsing online, you see a service or a product that was going to help your business. Oh my God, that's exactly what I need. But you don't realize this until it happens, right? I had a client that was looking for medical help for a while, trying to figure out how to make things better in her life. And she'd been trying. And finally she said, oh, I found a naturopath that I've been working with and it's actually helped to improve my health a lot. And I'm like, oh, okay. Where was your naturopath? Oh, she's my next door neighbor. Oh, so she's been there next door the whole time, right? So, but you couldn't see her until enough blocks were gone. Okay, so who you are. When you start off in life, you are a bright, shiny, I'm going to just combine that and make briny, a brand new car. And if you don't like Chevy, I'm sorry, but there's another picture coming up. It's a Chevy. I was trying to create continuity, so we went with Chevy. So you start off, you're ready to go, you're all fueled up, you're gearing up for your life, but you know, you're a little baby. But before you can actually go out and have your life, you start growing up and you get taught by your parents how life works. You get taught what's possible and what's not possible. And you're not actually taught what's possible and what's not possible. You're taught their beliefs on what's possible and what's not possible. And there's quite a bit of not possible in there. There's quite a bit of impractical. There's quite a bit of don't think about this. And it's basically like you're on the street and it's starting to snow and it's starting to snow and it's starting to snow. And all that snow is the limitations and crap that your parents have, that your friends have, that your teachers are giving you. And so finally, when it's time to go out and start your own business, get your own life going, you kind of feel like this. And at this point, you're not going anywhere, okay? There's just way too much crap on you. And this is why people are like, why can't I create that big life, right? Why am I stuck in this 9-to-5 job that I hate and can't do anything more? Why am I trying to start a business, but nothing ever happens? I don't get the progress. It's because all this crap is on top of you. But notice this, you're under there. Is there anything actually wrong with you? No, you just got all the crap on top. So all you have to do is figure out how to remove all that crap. Find out what those beliefs are that are holding you back and remove them and remove more and remove more. And eventually you'll start moving. And there'll still be a bunch of crap as you start moving, but you keep removing and you keep moving. You start moving faster. You start being able to go further. And that's what happens in life. So I've met a lot of people that think because of their life, they have been broken. You are not broken. There is nothing wrong with you. It's just this crap that's on top of you. One of the things you get taught are the why nots. If you've ever been in a life coaching program, a transformational program, what they focus on is the why, right? Why are you doing this? Why is this going to improve your life? What's that happiness factor? Are you doing it to help other people? Are you doing it just to make money and relax on a beach? Are you doing it because you want to make an impact on the world? What's your why? What is that thing that gets you up in the morning and says, this is what I want to do for my life? It's really, really important. The issue is you've been taught a lot of why nots, right? You can't sing because there's not a lot of rich singers out there. You want a steady 9-to-5 job, right? You can't be really visible because the more visible you are, the more people are going to judge you and you're going to have all these haters and you don't want the haters, so stay invisible. You can't have a lot of money because when you have lots of money, people come to you for the money, or the money changes you and you become a completely different person and you just become this complete asshole. So you can't have the money. And you get all this programmed into you. And then even if you consciously think other things, that internal program is running and it's changing your results. It's stopping you from getting what you want. And that's what causes that frustration. If you are determined to have success and it keeps eluding you, things keep coming up and it just gets worse and worse and worse, and you're still determined, you're still there, you're in frustration. And the way to get out of that frustration is start removing the why nots, start getting that crap off you, all that snow. So we're going to look at a lot of things that are keeping you from having that success. Okay. Why you don't want success, and from this picture, why you don't want money. Okay. So I was in one workshop and there was a woman that was working with me that she just like was never making any money. And she's like, I try and I never get more than, I think it was $30,000 a year was like the most she'd ever made in a year, but it's usually less than that. And as she was talking, I stopped her and I said, well, are you proud of your poverty? And she's like, what? No, I'm not proud of being poor. Why would I be proud of being poor? That's ridiculous. I want to have the money. That's crazy. And I apologized. I said, okay, obviously I was wrong. Now, here's the thing. If you get that big a reaction out of someone, you've hit something, just so you know. Okay. So I said, okay, let's just let it go. And then later on, out of the blue, she just spouts up and she goes, you can be rich and miserable, or you can be poor and happy. And I said, what? She goes, my parents used to say that all the time growing up. I said, oh, So do you think maybe hearing it over and over and over growing up, it might have sunk in? It might be directing your actions and keeping you where you're happy and poor rather than rich and miserable. She's like, yeah. And I'm like, okay, now that we're acknowledging that, we can actually make some changes and get you out of that story. But this is the story that happens. People have all these reasons why you don't want success and money. The biggest ones are being judged and being changed. And here's the thing about money. Money doesn't corrupt you. Money sets you free. And the reason people get worried about it is because there's a whole bunch of people that are really good people that make more money and they just become better people, but no one pays attention to them because they've always been good. They've always been doing good things with their money. So you're just like, oh, they're just doing more good things. It's not a big deal. But then there's a bunch of people that were jerks and now they become bigger jerks because they have money. And you like, they really shine. You're like, oh my God, this person's just a bigger jerk now that they got money. But then there's a third classification of people that are jerks, but they're pretending to be good people without the money so that they fit in and people like them. And as soon as they get the money, they don't have to pretend anymore. They can be the big jerk they are because they got money. They can do whatever they want. There's all this freedom. And so you see these people and you think, oh my God, look what money does to people. No, it's what money does to that specific person. Okay. So when your intentions are great, your intentions are to help people, your intentions are to have a good time, your intentions are to, make it a wonderful impact on the planet, then when you have more money, you just do that in a bigger way. So, yeah, so let's keep going. Why you think you can't have it. So this is another series of beliefs you get from your parents. Oh, that's not for us. That's not what our family has. Like our family's always been workers that struggle, right? Or, that's if that place you want to go to where everyone's making money, that's an elitist thing, that it's a closed gate community. You can't get in there, right? You get taught that by your parents, by your friends. You get all the reasons why you can't have it because it's closed to you. It's blocked off. The climb up that mountain is insane and there's no way you're going to make it. And again, there's all these people that are climbing that mountain that are just doing it. I was on a workshop just yesterday, and there was a kid there that's 26 years old. And it was interesting to hear him talk because he had a very horrible childhood, and there was a lot of crap that went down that I'm not going to get into. But now he's 26 and he owns a corporation. He's got mentors that are millionaires, right? And that they're helping him build his business. And one of the reasons he's doing this is because no one actually told him he couldn't. So I'm watching the reactions as he's telling a story of other people that are in there, like, how did he pull that off? How was he able to get in contact with those people? How is he managing to build a business like at that young an age? And because in their minds, it's like, there's no way, you don't have the contacts at that age. It's not possible. You haven't built up the experience or the network. But no one told him that. He's just like, yeah, just did it. And this is a thing. Like if you're already being told these things, it's stuff where you have to pull out. But if you're starting off, don't think that you can't have it just because other people say you can't have it. Right? One of my favorite stories about this is when I used to make 25% raises on my job when I was in corporate. Every year I get a 25% raise, which I thought was just the way things were. I didn't know I couldn't have that. And it wasn't until I told other people at my company, oh yeah, I love the 25% raises. They're like, no, we don't get 25% raises. We get 4% raises. I'm like, no, I know my raise every year. And everyone else was telling me, no, I get 4, I get 4, I get 4. And then I'm like, oh, so I actually can't have 25% raises. So the next time raises came around, I got 4%. They told me I couldn't have it. It didn't matter that I'd been having it. Didn't matter that it was easy and I didn't have to think about it. I could just get it. Oh no, you can't have it. Okay, let me put that wall right in front of me. This is what happens when you listen to authority figures and the majority of people and you buy their story of limitation. You create it in your own life. What will people think of me? So there's two things here. Number one is that straight out judgment, right? What are good people going to think of me if I'm I'm successful? Or what are people going to think about me when I become more visible, right? When I become more visible, are people going to hate me? Are people going to look at me like right now? Here I am talking to a whole bunch of people. Are people looking at me going, oh my God, he sucks. I hate this message. I don't want to listen to this guy. I'm just going to drop out. Or when's he going to get to the point? Or, you know, who's he to have this workshop? What credentials has he got? There's all these worries you have about what people are going to think of you. And God forbid you start to get negative reviews or a troll or something. Right. I worked with a business partner one time, and we put out a short for Paramount, and it's on YouTube. It's called Invasion of Cobra Island. If you ever want to watch it, we used the GI Joe dolls, and we just like did some stop motion and just moving them around with our hands and stuff, and got paid like tens of thousands of dollars from Paramount to do this. It was just like the best job, and we put these videos up on YouTube as a promotion for the GI Joe movie. It was just before it came out. And the response was insane. It was like, this is amazing. Oh my God, love the way you use the dolls. This is better than the movie. Like, this was so funny. And I was just like, yay, this is cool. But in the mix of that were about a dozen comments that were a piece of shit. Can't believe Paramount paid these guys. Waste of my time. These guys don't know what the fuck they're doing. And it didn't matter that there were hundreds and hundreds of amazing comments. My business partner just kept talking about that dozen comments that said that his work was shit. And I'm like, get over it. Let them go. He's like, can we get in contact with these people? Can we shut down their accounts? And I'm like, oh my God, right? They're just comments. You have no idea. This could be a 12-year-old kid commenting like this, and you're freaking out about it. And he's just like, I hate that. That's in the middle. People are going to read that. I'm like, they're going to read hundreds of other comments that say great things. And he was so frustrated. So then G.I. Joe 2 came out, and Paramount came back to us and said, do you want to do it? And he said, oh, you know what? Based on how much they're offering, we're not going to make any money off it. It's going to take too much time. Our schedule is too busy right now. And he had legitimate excuses. The other thing, it shows up as legitimate reasons, right? Not enough time. They're not paying us enough. All this stuff comes up, but I could see it in him. I don't want to look at those negative comments, right? I don't want to see those again. I don't want to freak out about those. So no, sorry, Paramount, we're not doing it. Right? Think about all the times you're worried about negative comments, about backlash, about what people might say about you, and pulling back from opportunities. So when you stop giving a crap what other people think, you will move further and you will move faster. Right? And here's the thing, even though some of these things show up physically, most of the time you're just worried about hypothetical people thinking hypothetical things. And I'll tell you what most people are thinking about you. Nothing. They're all worried about what other people are thinking about them. And so you've got a whole bunch of people not taking action because they're worried about what other people are thinking about them. When no one's thinking about them, they're all thinking about themselves and what other people are thinking about them. And so no one's getting anything done, except those few that just don't give a shit. And I'm like, this is what I love. This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to go for it. And these are the people you're seeing stand out. These are the people that are shining. Okay. The other part about what other people think is, what if people get jealous of me? What if the people I love get uncomfortable with me, get envious of me, watch me progressing? What's going to happen? Right? And I actually had a client that she limited her business because she didn't want to outshine her sister. And so she would basically see how much her sister was making and make a certain amount more. So her sister had to keep improving in her life for her to improve, right? And it was from this place of love. I want my sister not to be jealous of me. Well, not jealous, but I don't want my sister to feel overshadowed by me. So it wasn't a jealousy thing. It was just, I'm caring for my sister. And as long as she's in that story, she can't create big success for herself. So when you're worried about your family and your friends getting jealous, getting envious, getting angry, sometimes that's what's happened. What happens is you change. And because your new reality goes against their reality of how things work, they actually get angry because you're threatening their belief system, right? And good things may be happening to you. And as a byproduct, good things could be happening to them. But because you're now saying, okay, you know what? I can make money and it's easy to make. and they're struggling and working hard. And they're like, you can't do that. You can't just make money that easily. That's not fair. I'm like, well, no, you could do what I'm doing. It's like, no, you have to work hard to succeed. That's what we've been taught. Like, but I'm not, and I'm making money. And so when you're worried about that, and it happens in some cases, then again, you're going to hold yourself back. And then you're just going to be frustrated because, again, this may be an entire conversation going on in your mind that causes you to not have clients, not grow your business. And then you're just in frustration, wondering, what the hell? Why am I not creating success? What must you sacrifice in order to have success? Very common belief is that you've got to sacrifice time with your family, with your friends. And sometimes there's that initial time, sacrifice of time. But here's the thing, if you're doing what you love, it rarely feels like a time sacrifice. And if you know how to build a business with the proper automation, which is something we're going to get into later, then you use less time to do everything so that you can have this time with your family, your own free time. And it's amazing when you get this, when there's the practical side to this is how you can make things easier and spend less time, but there is the mental side of it's going to take a lot of work. I'm going to have to make sacrifices. Now, here's the thing. I just wanted people to throw this in the chat, actually. Throw it in the chat if you believe that parents should make sacrifices for their kids. Yes or no. I'm getting yes. Okay. So on the surface, this makes sense. Yes, parents should sacrifice for their kids. But I want you to go and look at the beliefs now. If you're in a belief that parents have to sacrifice for their kids, that belief inherently means you cannot create enough time and resources in your life so that you don't have to sacrifice for your kids, right? If you have to sacrifice for your kids, you have to limit your money, you have to limit your time so that there's a reason to sacrifice. Now, I'm not saying don't sacrifice for your kids, but there's a big difference between have to and willing to. If you're willing to sacrifice for your kids, but you don't have to, then you start your business and all these things come into play. More money comes into play, support comes in, people are helping you out. You find a way to automate things so you have more time. And then you're like spending more time with your kids. And you're like, cool, I've got a business and I don't have to sacrifice because I'm allowing it. But this is a very common belief though. You have to sacrifice for your kids. And those people living in that story create limitation in life so that they can feel sad, because there's another side to it. After you sacrificed for your kids, you get a high from it. Even though it's just like physically, you're like, oh my God, I had to give this up for my kids, right? Underneath, you're like, look what a great parent I am. I gave that up for my kids. And you actually get a fix. And so then you find another reason to sacrifice and another reason to sacrifice. And again, physically on the conscious level, you're like, oh my God, there's all this sacrifice going on. Unconsciously, you're like, look how fucking amazing a parent I am. Look what I'm willing to sacrifice for my children, right? So again, you're saying willing, but you're actually in have to. Be willing to sacrifice for your kids. Your kids are awesome. Help them grow up, teach them these lessons. Get out of have to sacrifice for your kids. Big, big, big difference. Okay. Here's where other sacrifice comes in. Are you willing to sacrifice hours of gameplay, hours of Netflix, hours of just, surfing YouTube or whatever it is you're doing? A lot of times when I am working with people and they're not getting results, I say, well, what'd you do yesterday? Well, I worked in my business. For how long? Oh, 1 or 2 hours. Then what'd you do? Well, I watched Netflix. I'm like, oh, and you're surprised you're not getting a lot of results here. Now, I'm not asking you to give up all the fun things you do, but what I call these things distractions. All right. So with distractions, you want some distractions in your life because that's where you get to reset and recharge. At the end of the day, I like to just take an hour and either watch Netflix or play a game or whatever, and just that's my decompression mode. But I don't spend 8 hours a day with distractions, with all those things. And when you're willing to start giving up these things, not eliminate them, but just reduce them for your business, then your business can improve. And it's simple and logical. But here's where the beliefs come in as well. Is if these other beliefs are there that, oh, what happens if I get more visible, or what if money changes me, or all these things, your unconscious mind will keep you coming back to these distractions just to keep you from making progress. And you'll sit there and go, I was on the computer and I went to YouTube to do a research thing for my business. And now it's 3 hours later and I'm watching kittens dance. And I don't know how I got here, but I can't remember when the last part was where I was actually doing the work. And oh my God, like how does this always happen to me? Well, that's your unconscious mind saying, look, let's distract the hell out of you so your business doesn't expand, so you don't become visible, and problem solved, right? That's how it can happen. So notice when this happens, and then notice, okay, why am I distracting myself? What am I afraid is going to happen when my business takes off? Okay. Then just coming off like, well, if I'm going to be doing all this work, what will it take? How much work is involved in creating this business? And a lot of people, especially you have to work hard to succeed mentality, put a lot of effort into the business, put a lot of things to do in their business. And it can become strenuous. And then you get into that place of, oh my God, I don't have time to do anything else. And the stress of responsibility for your business, for possibly your family, as well as your business, for the employees in your business, for the customers in your business. And you end up looking like this woman. It's just like, it's just too much. It's too much. But it doesn't have to be. Again, this is all coming from your belief system, right? Richard Branson owns like 400 companies. And from a traditional belief system, you're like, well, 400 companies, you're not going to have time for anything. Okay. There's no way. It's 400 companies. But he spends his morning with a stack of papers that are the status of every company. And he just goes through their one sheets on every company, checks them out, checks them out, checks them out. He's done in 3 hours. If he finds something, most of them are running well, but if something's wrong, he's like, okay, you've got to change this, or we're just going to get rid of that company. Right. And he's in this position that, he's got 400 companies, just get rid of one. He's still got 399 companies. We'll pick up something else. He's fine. Right. He doesn't create a whole bunch of stress around what's going wrong with this company. If it doesn't look like it's going to be able to be taken care of easily, it's just like, scrap it. We're done. So he's done it in a few hours in the morning. He's got his whole afternoon to do whatever he wants. Right. It doesn't have to be hard. Now, again, you have to be willing to put in the hours to do what it takes. But that's, again, being willing is different from I have to work hard. Right. Last Monday of every month, I do a series of free webinars and I do workshops with my clients. And I start at 9 a.m. and I finish at 11 p.m. And that's just the working with other people part. I do prep in the morning and I do close at the end. So it's like 16, 17 hours the last Monday of every month. I'm willing to do that every single month because I know it's going to advance my business, right? I'm willing to do that multiple days. I don't have to. And I usually don't work that many hours a day, but it's there. If I have to work 16 hours a day, I'm willing to do it. I don't have to. And I don't. I've actually arranged my business so I have 6 mandatory days at work. I do more than 6 every month, but I have 6 mandatory days a month. And if I shut everything else down and only work those 6 days a week or 6 days a month, I'd still pay all my bills, be able to do stuff and enjoy my life, right? But for me, it's about doing more. It's about doing the things I love, putting on events like this, working on my novel, working on another book that I'm writing. It's just like, okay, this is what I do with my time. So I'm always doing things, and those things lead to business expansion and more money. But I don't have to work hard. I don't have to go into this stress. I don't have to go into this frustration. As many people think business causes you. The bigger your business, the more responsibility. So then let's keep my business small because then I don't have to have responsibility, right? But if you say, well, I'm responsible for myself and creating an environment in my business where people can thrive and do well, and I'm not really responsible for every person in my business, I'm just responsible to make sure they have the potential to do well, then there's less pressure, there's less responsibility, and then you can have your business grow. But a lot of people think, I've got to take it all on. I'm responsible for everything. Yeah, and there it is. I've got to take it all on. So if you feel it's your business, you have to know every aspect of your business. You have to be involved in every aspect of your business. You've got to know this inside and out. And a lot of times people think, I can't trust anyone else to know my business, should handle my business. Then what happens is two major things can come out of this. Number one is you don't hire anyone and you do everything and you burn out. Number two is you hire people, but they don't do that good a job. So you can say, see, I'm the only one that knows my business. I hired these people. They can't do what I want. I'm going to have to just fire them, or I'm going to have to try some other people and find out they're incompetent, or try some more and find out they're incompetent. And all the time you're feeding that ego. It's like, I'm the only one that knows how to run my business. But on the surface, you're crippling yourself. You're not finding the right people. You're using up all your time. You are exhausted. You are frustrated. And again, it's all coming from that I'm the only one. It's all ego that creates this reality. What will it do to you? Here's one of the last things here. What's it going to do to you as you create success? Are you going to get arrogant? Are you going to forget the people that are important to you in your life? Right? If you're worried about these things, if you're worried about becoming this greedy person doing under the table deals, you won't create success. You will stay small. And again, this may not happen at a conscious level. You just say, why isn't my business expanding? Because at the back of your mind, you think if it does, I'm going to turn into someone I don't like. And at the front of your mind, you're like, why can't I get more clients? Right? Why is no one showing up to my workshops? Why is this my product not selling? It's all because of what's going on. And I know there's people watching this say, but no, sometimes it's just the way you advertise. Sometimes you just don't know what to do for marketing, or your message is wrong and you've got to change it. All that is powered by these beliefs. That's why you don't get the right marketing message. That's why you're not using the right promotions, because it's taking those actions keeps you from becoming this person you don't want to become, or any of the other examples that I've been giving earlier. And I know this because I've seen, like I've given you examples, sometimes the belief shifts and the business takes off without any change. But I've seen other cases where we finish shifting the belief and then someone comes up with this, oh, you know what? I could just do this. And they do it and the business takes off because the block was gone. So the new action can come in and take place. Okay. How will it affect others? And again, this is about leaving people behind, letting people getting angry at you, people getting jealous of you. We talked about this. A lot of people are concerned about it, and it keeps you stuck. And the last one, what happens after? This is something people overlook, and it's really important though. Your unconscious mind hates the unknown. It will do anything it can to make sure it doesn't go to a space of unknown. So how this impacts your business is if you've got this plan of what it's going to take to build your business, and this is where you want your business to get to, and then that's it. Like, then I have got my business and I'm done. And there's nothing after that. That can freak out your subconscious mind, right? So it's just like, well, if there's nothing after that, I don't want to get to a place of unknown. So I don't want you to get to a place where your business is now functioning exactly perfect, because then we just hit this unknown. I don't know what to do next. But if you know what's coming next after that, and after that, and after that, and there's ways to do this, and it puts your subconscious at ease, and you're like, oh, okay, so once we're there, then we're just gonna move to this, and then we're gonna move to this. And this actually creates momentum in your life. This creates momentum in your business. And you may think, but oh, if I'm good because I have goals and I know where I'm heading, and so that's giving my mind something to think about, it's still looking ahead. It's still looking past that. And if you're building a business and you have a lot of unknowns in that business, it's going to stop you. Your mind is going to stop you from hitting any of those unknowns. So it's going to slow down your business, right? So if you say, well, I'm going to build it once and I've got the business going to, so I can handle, say, 80 clients. What happens if I get 100 clients? Well, I don't know. We'll handle that when we get there. Your mind's like, no, we can't handle that when we get there. We need to handle that now. You need to come up with a plan now. And of course, this doesn't hit you in the conscious mind. You're like, we'll handle it when we get there. How come I'm not getting there? Why isn't this happening? Why isn't it showing up? Oh, you got the subconscious at work in the background. Okay. So check my time. We're ready to go to the interactive part. So I'm going to go quickly through this. One of the reasons it's hard to get out of this is because you're actually addicted to the belief system you're in. You're addicted to the current reality you're in. And you want to make a change. You want your business to increase. You want to start a new business and create a whole new reality for yourself. But that addiction is there and it's in multiple forms. So number one is the stories you're in. And here's things you can tell where you're in the story that just keeps repeating. This always happens to me. If you're saying that and complaining, it's a story you're trapped in. Every time I try to cook, every time I try to get my business going, every time I find a new business partner, this goes to shit. Okay. And I can't actually see that one because it's behind people. Story of my life. Yes. Happened again. The story of my life. Story of my life. So the thing about being in these stories is every time the story plays out, you get to be right. And people love being right. You like to be right more than being successful, having money, having a wonderful relationship, and even being healthy. That's how powerful being right can be for people. And so it's not just that you like to be right, but every time you're right, you get a hit of dopamine. The brain just hits you with dopamine and it feels good. And so you want to be right over and over and over again. So you're going to create those elements of your story over and over and over again. Also, there's no unknown in them. Even though the story may play out in variations, there's no unknown. Your subconscious loves it. It's safe. It may suck, but it's safe. It's repeatable. So you keep doing it over and over again and getting your addiction to dopamine. So you know I'm right. Plus, whenever your story plays out, you form neurons in your brain to store the information of that story. And every time it plays out, another neuron. And so what happens is you get these streams of consciousness about the story in your brain. And your brain likes to be organized. So what it does is it finds similar neurons and groups them together. So now you get a river of consciousness about your story. And that means you think about it more, you remember the past times more, you react to it more, and you project it into the future more. So you're really locked up in this story. Then there's the subconscious part. So if you're looking to partner with someone on your business and you have a story that my partner always screws me over, so then you may find these twins and one twin's going to help your business and the other one's going to screw you over. And you don't know which it is because they look exactly the same to you. But unconsciously you're like, ooh, I'm really being pulled to the one on the right. And I'm hoping he's not going to screw me over, but there's no difference between these two, but I just sort of feel this alignment to the one on the right. But this is what your mind is seeing. This is what your subconscious is seeing, these twins instead. And that's because that one is going to screw you over. So that's why you feel that affinity to. And then you get into a business deal with that person, he screws you over. And you're like, oh, happened again. Story of my life. I was right. And then the funny thing is because you're acting from the subconscious space, you won't go back to the other guy. You'll just start the process over again with some new people and continue it and continue it and continue it. And the last thing is law of attraction. You are pulling in people, events, resources to your business that help it if you're in a good story or restrict it if you're in a bad story. And for this, you don't even need to do anything. These things just show up for you. They show up in your email. People call you. They show up at your doorstep. And if they align to what you want to do, it's a great thing. The resources just show up. But if your story is a story of struggle, a story of frustration, a story of being betrayed, those people show up. Okay. So what I want you to do is break the addiction. And we're going to do that right now, actually. with some people on the call. So what I'm going to do now, this is, you can't be a famous secret. Okay. Is I'm going to work with some of the people on the call. We're going to try and get to as many as we can in the next hour. And, oh yeah, there's some people that did not pay that showed up in the participants. That's interesting. Deal with you guys later. Okay. So I'm going to ask you, some people, to raise their hands, and I want you to know that this is being recorded. This is going to be used later, possibly for marketing and stuff like that. So if you're worried about that, don't raise your hand. And you have to be visible, because I'm going to spotlight you. I can only spotlight people with their videos on. Okay. And so I'm going to have a conversation about your business reality and what you're trying to create, where your frustration is. And when I talk to you, I can tell when your conscious beliefs match your unconscious beliefs. So I know whenever you're lying. And I don't care if you're lying to me, I care if you're lying to you. So let's say you say, Shiraz, I want to make an extra $100,000 in my business this year. I'll probably say, no, you don't. That's a lie. And you're like, no, I do. And I said, well, let's find out why it's a lie. And it could be that if I make an extra $100,000 a year, people are going to come up and say, can I borrow some money? Can you put some into my business? Can I have it? And you're like, I don't want to deal with those people. So the best way not to deal with those people is not have the money to give them. So then you don't have to say no. And that's all just you not wanting to say no to people. Or it could be, I work this hard to make the money now. To make an extra $100,000 means this much more work. And I don't want to do that much more work. So it's better just not to make the money. And there could be belief after belief after belief. Once we find out what's going on, we're going to find, like, where the lie is. We're going to find those beliefs, and I'm going to start asking you, are you willing to destroy that belief, or are you willing to step out of that story? Okay, and a story is just a repeated belief. And that's where we got back to story of my life, always happens to me, blah, blah, blah. If you say yes and you mean it, you have to mean it, then it actually gets snuffed out right in that moment, which is really cool. And when that happens, is where we get a little weird, energy is shifting, because everything is energy, including your beliefs and stories. When energy shifts around me, I tend to yawn and cough. So expect me to be yawning and coughing for the next hour. Okay, it does not hurt. Don't worry, you're not doing anything bad to me. It's just how my body reacts. Okay, and for you, I don't know what's going to happen. Well, I know with some of you what's going to happen, but for most of you, I don't know what's going to happen. But the most common thing is I hear people saying they feel energy or tingling in their chest, and it's either just tingling or it's moving out. But you may yawn, you may get hot, you may get cold, you may like have a little muscle twitch. I don't know. It's different for every person, and some people just don't feel anything. But chances are, if I'm yawning and coughing, something's shifting for you, even if you're not feeling anything. Okay. Now, the neat thing is, when I work on one person here, everyone that is viewing can get the change. So when they say yes to that, are you willing to destroy the belief, or are you willing to step out of the story? And I just need the yes from you. And it's a solid yes. Then whoever's listening can also say yes, and it will shift for you. Okay. And it doesn't have to be exact. So if I'm talking to, let me see some hands up. If I'm talking to Danny and she's talking about her business, but we find out it's all a relationship thing about her dad, you might say, oh my God, I've got that same problem, but it's with my cousin. You can just mentally make that switch and say, okay, I'm clearing this in regards to my cousin instead of my dad. It will clear for you. So you don't have to have the exact same match, which gives a lot more benefit to the people on the call. And if you hear me say, ow, it's because you're in resistance to what we're trying to change. You've decided that belief is important, it's vital, you need to hold on to it. And so it's almost like you're throwing energetic daggers at me. It doesn't really hurt, but it's just, I get that feeling of, oh, stay the hell away from this, Shiraz. And those are the ones that are usually keeping you really restricted. So we want to move that out. The other thing, I just feel like I need to mention this now, is oftentimes when we're in these group sessions and I'm talking to one person, your connection may start to falter. That is because you are putting resistance through the Zoom call so that you don't have to hear what I'm saying, or you don't have to do the clearing, okay? And this may or may not happen in this particular call, but everyone watching will see it. You'll see that one person start to freeze up, right? I'm I'm on a 1 gigabit per second line, so I know there's not going to be a problem on my end. Okay. I make sure of that. Unless, and here's the one thing that happens every now and then, there's been a couple calls, I think there's been like 4 or 5 over the last 7 years, where I said something that caused the entire group to react, that I lost my connection. One time, even my Wi-Fi got knocked out in my house. I had to reset the whole damn thing. This is how powerful you are, okay? It's not just physical. You are affecting everything around you. And we're going to find out more about that in just a little while. So, one final one. This is about business, creating your business, this Frustration to Freedom workshop, getting you out of that frustration. So that's what I want to talk about. Sometimes we're on these calls and I've worked with people and other things, and they're like, oh, you know what? I've been having trouble eating. And I'm like, I don't care. Not now. I'll care about that on a private call, but not right now. Okay. So, all right. Let's start with Yvonne. I'm going to ask you to unmute. I'm going to spotlight you and me.
Hi.
Hi, I can't find me. Oh, there's me. Okay, spotlight. All right. What's going on?
So I'm coming up on 1 year now working as a financial advisor. And I did a lot of work with myself to prepare myself for this industry. I know I had some stories running in the back of my head about insurance and finance and money and all of that. And so I've been doing a lot of work trying to clear all of that garbage out. But as you're training as an advisor, you're constantly in training that first 3 years, constantly telling you prospecting is hard, the industry is competitive. And so there's all these stories coming at me, and I'm finding it difficult to keep up with how to block their story so that they don't become my story and I don't hold on to it. And so I've been trying like affirmations, constantly listening at night while I'm sleeping to keep the space clear, but I'm still finding that I'm getting stuck in spots and not recognizing what's causing it.
Okay. We all have what's called an authority filter. Actually, I call it for official authority filter. Secretly, I just call it the bullshit filter. Okay. And the whole thing about this filter is, with authorities telling us things, we turn it off because they're authorities. They know what they're talking about. They're knowledgeable, right? And authorities can be like doctors, your boss, experts, and the majority of people. Right? Now, you don't have to turn this off, but we've just been trained, you got to turn it off. When you leave it on all the time, what happens is the information comes in and you just look at that information and goes, is that true for me? Does that work for me? Because even if an authority is telling you something, they may tell you something that works for their life and their experience, but doesn't work for you. And if you just take that in, now you've just taken their restriction and put it on yourself. So when someone says something to you, there's actually an energy to it. It can feel light or heavy, and you'll feel that in your body. If it feels heavy, don't buy it, okay? And my advice is, whenever anyone's telling you something, just feel it out in yourself. Does that feel true to me? Does that feel like something I can work with? And if it doesn't, don't, or go in and do some research on your own to explore that some more, rather than just taking people at their word, right? Because if you take someone at their word, exactly what they say all the time, no learning actually occurs in that moment. You're just taking a new piece of information and storing it and saying, that's what I got to do. So are you willing to step out of the story that you have to take on the beliefs of any authority in your life?
Yes.
The other thing to remember about authorities is that they're just people. So they could be having a bad day and then give you the wrong information based on their mood. That's another reason you got to keep the filter on, okay? And so, okay, so, and this is why, like, you may think, okay, they're very, very smart, they've done all this, therefore they must be right. So are you willing to step out of the story that if they're experienced and they're an expert, they must be right?
Yes.
Okay, and what's coming up right now is, are you experienced enough to be an authority? Oh, see that? Okay. Yeah. Okay. And this is what's keeping you from rising because your belief is I can't be the authority. I am the follower. I'm the one that the authorities work with. Okay. So remember that everyone is an authority in some way, right? Even a 6-year-old is vastly superior authority to a 2-year-old. They're like looking at 6 going, my big brother is so smart and can do all sorts of stuff, right? So you are an authority to anyone that has less experience than you. It's that simple, right? So we get stuck in this thing that I've got to get these degrees, or I've got to have 20 years experience, or I've got to have that designation in order to be the authority. But that's not true. So are you willing to step out of the story that you don't have the experience to be an authority?
Yes.
Okay, that one you're holding back on. Okay, so there's a little bit of fear coming up. What's going to happen if you become the authority?
I
Okay,
become responsible?
yeah. Do you want the responsibility that comes along with being an authority? Ooh, you can feel that one. So here's the thing, as an authority, you want to share your knowledge with other people. You want to contribute, you want to guide. And as long as you're doing that to the best of your ability, you're not responsible for the other people. Everyone's responsible for their own lives and their own outcome. But if you feel that once you're an authority, you're responsible for everyone you work with, then what I talked about earlier, you're just going to shut yourself down. It's too much responsibility. And if I have more and more people, that's more and more responsibility, right? I am not responsible, and I'm sorry to my regular clients, I'm not responsible for you guys, okay? Right? I work with you, I give you my all in our sessions, and then that's it, we're done, right? Otherwise, I would be a mess. Okay. So, are you willing to step out of the story that if you become an authority, you're going to be responsible for everyone you work
Yes.
with? Okay, now let's go back to the other one. Are you willing to step out of the story that you don't have the experience to be an authority?
Yes.
That's better. Okay, how's that feel?
Better.
Cool. All right.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thanks for playing. Let's bring someone else. Sharon. Ah, shoot. I should have highlighted you before I lowered your hand. Now you just disappeared. Okay, there you are. Ask to unmute.
Oh, there. Okay. Sorry. I wasn't muting right away. So where I'm stuck is I made a list of people that I want to reach out to, certain influencers in the breast cancer community. And every time I do it, I drop the ball totally on me. I don't know what it is that is stopping me from saying, hey, you're in this business, I'm in this business. How can we support and help each other and ultimately our clients? And I'm not sure. I'm like been really holding off doing it until I clear some stuff around it because I've tried it several times and yeah, I create blocks, things happen, falls apart.
Okay, so the question for you is truth. If you work with someone else, will they take over?
Oh,
There it is.
Bing.
Okay.
I didn't realize that. Okay.
Okay, so if you're worried that they're going to take over, of course, you're going to drop the ball every single time because that's the safest place to be.
I actually have that going on in other places where people are like coming up with these ideas, and I'm like, I gave you that idea. So it's interesting. It's not just showing up in
Yeah.
work. And I haven't seen that in a long time, but yeah. Okay.
Yeah, because when you were in that story, people would come up with your ideas because they're taking over. And so then you just shut it down entirely so you don't see it, but now you're not looking at it.
Yeah, I thought it makes me feel like I'm in high school or working on a class project, and you know, I take all
Okay.
the credit for it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Okay, but that's just that story running. So are you willing to step out of the story that whenever you partner with someone else, they take over?
Yes.
Are you willing to step out of the story that whenever you share information, other people take the credit?
Yes.
Ooh, nice.
Yeah, there's something about you know, certain things I've created. Yeah, it feels like they're gonna steal them, and it's like a property, an intellectual property issue
Yep.
in my head, and I'm like, oh, it's just like, yeah.
Okay. And this doesn't even feel like yours. So whose story is it that people will always try to steal your ideas and your property?
Feels pretty personal. um, I don't know.
Okay. It's all right. You don't have to pinpoint it, but
Okay.
are you willing to step out of that story?
Yes.
Okay. How's that feel?
Better, I'm sure. You know.
Cool.
Thank you.
You're welcome. And I just want you guys to throw a yes in the chat if you're getting a shift or a benefit from what we've done so far, just with these two people. Here come the yeses. If you're on YouTube, throw it in the chat there too. Okay. Miss Goulet. Ask to unmute. There we go.
Hi.
How you doing?
Not bad. How are you?
I'm wonderful. What's going
I've been trying to start my own yoga business and just kind of wellness business since like January. I've had my 200-hour yoga instructing certification for about 2 years, but I haven't done anything about it. And I've been wanting to get out of serving for like so long. And I'm
Okay.
just stuck.
Okay. It just feels like there's overwhelm there. Is running your own business going to be just overwhelming?
I think yes, because I don't really know where to start. And I don't like, I feel like I get overwhelmed because I have so many feelings and perceptions about the wellness business and just like therapy and wellness and yoga and like people taking advantage of it. And I just don't want to do it for the wrong reasons as well.
When you say people taking advantage of it, do you mean the people running the businesses taking advantage?
I just sometimes I look at the whole like wellness industry and I just feel like it's not super accessible for everyone. And like I'm afraid that if I try to make it accessible, I won't be able to be successful in it. But if I also don't make it accessible, I don't feel like it's ethical.
What do you mean by accessible?
Just that like that it's not only available for people who can afford really expensive things. I just find that sometimes it's very pricey to get the like, well, like, I don't know, it's just really pricey. And I find it pricey myself. And it's always like a big thing for me to pay money for a wellness or like yoga studios and stuff like that. Like I always find it kind of over pricey for me. So I wouldn't want someone who is like not making very much money to feel like they have to spend a lot to get the same sort of experience as someone who is like more well off or has like disposable income.
Yep. So there's a few things running around there. Okay, so so number one is you don't want to create an experience for people to feel the way you do when it comes to wellness.
Yeah, I
But
guess so.
you feel the way you do because of the money reality you've created for yourself. If you had a lot more money, you wouldn't even be thinking about it.
Mhm.
And it's great to care for people. Okay. So I don't want you to just not care about the people and just cater to all the really rich people. But you can cater to rich people and poor people and all these other people in between when you're not worried so much about how people are going to react, how they're going to feel, right? So it's just because what's happening, there's the two sides of the coin. Is I don't want people to feel like they can't afford it, and I don't want them to feel like, oh, I don't have the money, and so I'm denied all these things. And that's a noble sort of place. But the other side of it is I want to give an amazing experience to people. And there's all these different ways they'll be able to access it and either find the funds or find the funding or be part of the community. And that's the thing I want to create. Now, the one is all negative. It's away from, I don't want this, I don't want this, I don't want this. The other is towards, it's positive. It's like, this is what I want to create. This is what I want to create. And when you stop going from the negative and going to the positive, then the different ways for that to show up just start to appear.
Mhm.
Okay? So in this kind of clearing, it sounds weird because what I want you to do is get out of the negative thinking. And getting out of the negative thinking doesn't mean you go to the opposite side. So if I say something like, are you willing to stop believing that you have to make sure no one feels the way you do? It sounds like, well, wait, I want them to feel the way. No, it's just you're stopping them to not, like that not part. So you come into this place of neutrality. Okay. So, wow. Are you willing to step out of the story that you have to make sure no one feels about your business the way you feel about other people's business?
Yeah.
Right. Because if you're worried about people feeling that way about your business, you're just not going to create the business. You'll create a business that's completely free where you're constantly losing money, but now no one feels about it. Oh, it's just too expensive, right? I had this come up just a couple of years ago. Someone had talked to a friend of mine, and they said, Shiraz charges $6,000 for a private transformation program. Like, that's insane. Who can afford that, right? Where does he get off charging that much? It's actually more now. And if I had heard that from my friend and went, oh my God, I don't want people thinking about that, I would have lowered the prices. I would have lowered my value, and that wouldn't put me in the position I'm in today. But what was interesting is my friend points out, yeah, but he does free events every month. Go to one of those. Like, you're not going to get everything you get from the transformation, but you'll get shifts until you're able to get to a space where you can do it. And I'm not saying like do exactly that in your business, but when you're saying, I'm willing to have those premium clients pay for premium service for me, and I'm willing to provide some way, and it may not be clear that way, for the people that are where I am in this moment, because you're going to go up, because that's going to allow you to go up, where I'm in this moment to be able to have a wonderful health experience, then things will start showing up. You'll get an idea to do it, or a partner that says, hey, why don't we try this? Or, some person says, you know what, Sundays, there's no one using a studio, come in, have a free session for people so they can get a little bit of that. And then the rest of the days you do your charging and do something with those other people. All these possibilities show up. But what stops people is this is where it came down to. I don't want other people to think about my business the way I don't want people to feel like, oh, it's too much. Why don't I? And go into this anguish. And it's a loving space you're in, but it's also a limiting space.
Mhm.
Again, it's not the intention, but you have to be willing for people to go, oh my, Danny, did you see what she charges for her premium program? Oh my fucking Lord. Where does she get off? You have to be willing for people to go that, because there's other people that are going to say, I just read what you offer. Here's my money. Take it now. Take it right now, Danny. Right? And that's what's going to show up in your business.
Okay.
Okay. How's that feel?
That feels better. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, let's go to Nicole.
Hello.
How are you doing?
Good, thank you.
Cool. What's going on?
I just stepped out of my current job to pursue private practice. I feel pretty confident around most of it. I think there's still a little bit of like, I'm okay. I've moved past, being uncomfortable receiving money for my services, that sort of thing. But I think there's still a little bit of poverty consciousness around. I would love like a team, like I would love a virtual assistant and someone to help me with create the course that I want to do and to have new furniture for my office space. So that all of a sudden feels like, ugh.
Okay. All right. What would happen if you had that assistant?
It would free me up to be able to do more direct service with people.
Okay. So, Truth, do you want to be freed up?
Yes.
That's not coming up true.
No?
No. So this might be what I was talking about earlier. Do you have to handle every aspect of your business?
I've hired people before and they never understand my vision.
Yeah, so that's exactly what I was talking about before. Because your belief is that exactly that. They're not going to understand my vision. So every person you hire is not going to understand your vision. So that you can say, there it is again. I was right. I was right. I'm going to have to be the one that implements this. So are you willing to step out of the story that no one else is going to understand your vision of your business? Ow, you're resisting that one. Okay, there's more there. What would happen if someone else really understood your vision?
I think sometimes I'm afraid to get really big.
Okay. All right. So if someone understood your vision, started working with you, you would grow, and you don't want to grow too big.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, okay, you're getting all squirmy as we talk about this. Okay. So what's the fear there? What's wrong with being really big?
More responsibility and maybe it'll eat up more of my time. I can't hide as much, maybe.
That's coming up more clear, yes.
Yeah,
Okay.
more visible.
Yeah. Okay, why do you need to hide?
I don't know.
Okay. Are people going to see parts of you you don't want them to see?
Yeah, I think it's more so sort of connected to people not understanding my vision. I do a similar work that you do, but I do it with teens. Mm-hmm. And so in my current job as a social worker in the school board, I have to keep a lot of the stuff that I'm knowledgeable sort of hidden. Mm-hmm. You know, my hypnosis training, my energy training, my dowsing rods, like that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. So I think I'm used to just hiding it.
Okay. If your business expands, are you going to keep the other job?
No.
Okay. So notice what you've done though, is that you're making sure you stay small so that you don't lose the other job that you're looking to lose when your business gets big.
Yeah, I think it's just more habit.
Yeah. Okay.
I think it's probably even from childhood, even the hiding my light to make other people comfortable.
Okay. Who taught you that?
My family and school.
Okay. Wow. Make sure you shut that school down. Okay. So are you willing to step out of their story that you always have to hide your light to make everyone else comfortable?
Yeah.
Okay. That's hitting a bunch of people right
That feels nice. Yeah. I feel
Okay. There is no growth in comfort. There is no freedom when you're trying to make everyone else comfortable. Okay. Are you willing to step out of the story that you have to stay hidden because people just won't understand who you are and where you're coming from?
yes.
Ooh. Okay, how's that feel?
That was a big solar plex release. Wow. Yeah. Mhm.
Cool.
Right. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you for playing. All right. We're having fun. We're just getting through some serious shifts here. Okay. Who next? Who next? Who next? I go by who lights up for me. And I hope I pronounce this right. Is it Terry or is it just Tear?
It's Terry.
Terry. Okay, Terry,
Nice
what's
to
going on?
meet you. Well, I just been procrastinating and fear. I have a new business and I have everything to start, but it's nervous, procrastination, fear, all of the above.
Okay. What's going to happen if you stop procrastinating and your business starts to flow and take off?
If I stop procrastinating, then things will flow smoothly.
Yeah. And then what's going to change in your life?
I will be able to enjoy what I love to do.
Okay. What else is going to happen? What's the business again?
I do mediation and conflict resolution training.
Okay. And so now you're going to be doing that on your own, training, I guess, working with companies or individuals?
Individuals as well as companies too that need my services.
Okay. There's a lot of resistance there. So are you getting paid for this yet?
No, not yet.
Okay. How good do you have to be at it when you start getting paid?
How good do I have to be?
If they start paying you, can you get good results? Does it have to be amazing results? Does
Results.
it always have to be results?
Doing what I do, yes.
Okay. And what if you work with someone or a group of people and it doesn't feel like you're getting results? What's going to happen?
Then we will go into an impasse.
Okay. You're going into a lot of resistance when I brought that up. Okay. Are you allowed to ever have that situation show up in your business?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Okay. So that's actually coming up true, but you're still in resistance to that impasse. What's so bad about that impasse?
Oh, there's nothing bad. It's just starting the process. That's
Mm-hmm.
It's just a fear. I don't know. I don't know. Because I have everything that I need. Is just to push the pedal to make myself go.
Okay.
And yeah.
All right. Truth. If you don't start, does that mean you won't fail?
If I don't start, then I am failing.
I get that you get that logically. But I just wanted you to sort of touch inside. If you What if you start and you fail? How would that feel?
If I start and I fail, then I will seek another outlet. I mean, I won't stop.
Okay.
You know, failing is a lesson. Failure is
Yep.
a lesson
Yep.
for me.
Yep. And this is the neat thing is you know the lessons, you know how it works. And consciously, this is all, everything you're saying is right. Unconsciously, there's other stuff going on in there. Okay. So are you willing to destroy the belief that you have to make sure you never fail?
Yes, I'm willing to destroy that belief.
Oh, wow. That one's actually making me sweat. Okay. Okay, you're not the only one on the call with that one. How will people perceive you during a failure?
It wouldn't matter to me what their perception would be,
Okay.
because my own failure would be my, you know, my property, my own.
Okay. And truth, do you have to punish yourself if you fail?
I'm sorry.
Do you have to punish yourself if you fail?
Now, I would
Okay.
normally.
Okay. So that's actually coming up really strong too. And this is when we're growing up, if you do something wrong, you get punished for it.
Right.
And it's just to teach you right and wrong. But a lot of people, once they're adults, they continue with that. And so you fail and then you punish yourself. You usually just like mentally, oh, what's wrong with you? How did you fail? Why didn't you know better? Blah, blah, blah. But the failure itself is the punishment. You don't need to add all that on top. Okay. So are you willing to step into the story that every time you fail, you need to punish yourself?
Yes, I'm willing to step out of that story.
Yeah, that's where a lot of it was. Because you're going to have successes and failures. But if you're, number one, if you're worried about the failures, that's going to slow you down. And number two, if you know there's punishment that's even coming from you along with the failures, you're going to slow yourself down even more. And that's just going to show up in procrastination. Okay, how are you feeling? Better, worse, the same?
I feel much better. I feel much.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Okay, that felt really big. Did that help a bunch of other people out? Put a yes if it helped you out. Okay, I'm liking all these yeses. Let's go to Arthur.
Hey, Shiraz.
Hey, Arthur.
I would like to have more clients, and it's kind of, even though I had a sales video up, I put on my Facebook wall, and a bunch of people liked it and shared it on their wall as well. It didn't actually get me more clients, and I'm kind of tired of only having like 2 or 3 clients at a time.
That actually didn't come true.
Okay.
So, how many clients would you like?
5.
Okay. That's neat. There's just some stuff going on. So what would having 5 clients mean to you?
It would mean that my business is successful and I'm going towards kind of a financial abundance that I've wanted for a long time.
Okay. So the first part came out true, the second part not so much. And then something else was popping up. Would you be able to handle all the issues of those 5 new clients?
Not all the issues, but I think I'll be able to like do a dent on the problems.
Say that again. Not all the issues, but what?
I'll be able to hit a dent on their problems. Like I'll be able to make it easier for them somehow.
Okay. Will that be enough?
Yeah.
Okay, so that's not coming up true. So do you need to be able to solve all the issues of your clients? And I'm not saying everything in their life, but what they come to you with. Will you?
Oh, what they come to me with, yes. If I have the ability to get them out of the shift and to get them out of that particular thing, yes.
Okay. So my question is, do you need to be able to solve all the issues they come to you with?
Yes.
Okay. So here's the thing is, you're into that energy of like, I need to solve everything. And if you unconsciously think, oh, what if I don't? What if I can't get a particular issue? Then you're going to make sure you push back on how many clients show up. You're going to be looking for those clients that you feel absolutely, oh, I know this one. It could be like, I dealt with this with someone else. I know I can absolutely tackle this, so I'll let this client in. But if there's any clients where part of you thinks, oh, I might not be able to, you're going to not let them show up as clients. And that's so happens in two ways. Number one, it could just be when they come to you, you're like, we're not a match. Or number two, which is more likely, is that energy keeps them from saying, let me go work with Arthur. So are you willing to step out of the story that you can only take on clients if you know for sure you'll be able to solve all their issues?
Yes.
Okay. And I know I talked about this, but let's just check it. Truth, are you responsible for every one of your clients?
Yes.
Okay. Are you willing to destroy that belief? Ow.
I want to say yes to that.
Yeah, you're resisting like crazy. Why do you want to be responsible for all your clients?
They're kind of like my kids. That's kind of how I look at them. It's like you just gotta. They come to me because they trust me and they know I have certain skills and capabilities to work with them. And so, if I know they're open to it and I have the skills to help them shift it, there's no reason why I shouldn't be responsible for their results on some capacity. Maybe not all.
So here's the thing, if you're responsible for them, then it's not a place of you come in, you do a session with them, you contribute the best way you know possible, and then it's over. What happens is you feel you're responsible for every one of your clients. Then you start working with Janice and you do a session with her. And it's a really good session, but you didn't quite get everything. You want to dig a little deeper next time. So then you go and you start working with Mark. But now your mind is on that stuff you didn't finish up with Janice. Not a big part. You're still with Mark, but a little bit is with Janice. And so now you do with Mark, but Mark's not getting a perfect session because your mind is a little bit on Janice. So now you go on to Michael, right? And now you're working with Michael, but now you got Mark and Janice on your mind because you're responsible for them. You have to make sure you get the results, and you keep doing that. So now by the time you've got 5 clients, you're not fully engaged with any one of those clients because the responsibility of the other 4 clients. And if you want more clients than that, it just gets worse, right? If you stop being responsible for them and you just say, I'm going to do my best, I'm going to give you the best contribution I can in this moment during the session, and then we're done, then there's all this freedom that comes with that. Because each person, even though you're responsible for the content you provide, you're responsible for the way you show up in that meeting. That's all about you. They're responsible for their lives and their change. That's what they're coming to you for. Because you can give them the best advice in the world and they could still say, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to take that on. And if you're responsible for them, that just puts you in frustration because you've given the information. Why aren't they obeying the information? Jesus Christ, what's wrong? I'm responsible. You're supposed to be getting results. What the hell? That's not going to lead to a good state. That leads to frustration. Okay. So are you willing to step out of the story that you have to be responsible for every one of your clients?
Yes.
Okay. How's that feel? Better, worse, same, or different?
Different.
Different. Okay. Cool. All right. I was just staring at me. Okay, thanks.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. Okay. Thanks for that. Okay, thank you.
Okay, Diane. Oh, can you come onto camera, Diane, before I pick you? Otherwise, I'll assume you're just in the background with your hand up and we're not going to do anything. 3. Oh, there she is. Okay. Did you get the unmute? Nope. I'll ask again.
Oh,
There it is.
okay. There we go. My thing is, I'm scared to call people. I don't know why.
Mhm.
To make the phone calls and call the clients. I chicken out. I
Okay.
don't know why.
Calling them. It doesn't really matter about what are you calling them about, though?
Just to get them on to come see a presentation, and I hesitate. Like, I know people, and I'm like, okay, I'll always make an excuse. Oh, I won't call them. They're going to be busy, or they're not interested, or.
Okay, so you're already deciding the outcome before you even got on the call.
Yep.
And what if this presentation is a presentation that changes their lives?
Then I'm holding back
Yeah.
instead of sharing it with them.
Yep. Oh, why are you being so greedy?
Well, I'm not trying to be.
Here's all these people that are looking for change in their life. You've got a solution that can create change in their life. And you're like, no, you know what? I'm not going to tell them. I'll just hold back. So there's nothing wrong with putting the ask out there. For some people, it's going to resonate. Everyone that showed up here, I put the ask out and it resonated, right?
Mhm.
Some people, no, that's just not for me. But if you're worried about getting that not interested, no, don't bother me, then all those imaginary, they're not real yet, all those imaginary no's just keep you from making the calls. I remember there was an exercise way back that I learned, which was you have to try to get 10 no's every day. So you make a call, you get 10 no's. And that just builds that muscle. So you make the call, you do the pitch. Nope. See, that's 1. And you get to 10 and you're done. But then you do it again and you do it again. And then, it may happen the first day, it may happen the second or third. Then you get a yes. I'm like, shit, now I got to make an extra call. And then you get 3 or 4 yeses. And then you're like making all these extra calls. And then you're suddenly getting all these yeses. And you're like, damn it, when am I going to get to that 10th no? I keep getting these yeses. Okay. So are you willing to step out of the story that you shouldn't call people because it might bother them?
I know, even when you were saying it, I could hear you freezing. Yes. That was a hard
Okay.
yes.
That's not
I always
moving
feel
yet.
like I'm
So,
bothering people.
about everything?
Yeah, like even when I'm talking right now, I try to make it short and quick
Mhm.
because I feel like, there's other people that need to make their call too. So I want to, make sure that everybody gets a turn kind of thing.
Okay, so this is a greater problem. Okay. Okay, now we're going to go actually into everyone gets a turn. When you're trying to make sure that everyone gets a turn, you're diminishing what you can have. Right? I remember I would do workshops, and at the end of the workshop, I'd say, I'm going to do this thing called an energetic infusion. And I get a whole bunch of people rush up to get the energetic infusion. And then I get a whole bunch of people that are sitting there waiting for the line to get down so that everyone else got their turn before they went. Now, those people that sit and wait for everyone else to get their turn, they don't go very far in life because they're letting everyone else go ahead. Okay. Now, it doesn't mean you have to be rude and push people out of the way, but when there's an opportunity to have something, you jump in there and you make the most of it. So even now, you're like shying away from the camera. We don't even know if you're still there.
Oh, I'm
You're
here.
sticking your
It's
head
just,
out the window.
I'm in traffic right now.
Are you driving?
No, I'm actually pulled over.
Okay.
And the cop just pulled over, and now some lady screaming at the car in front of me. Ooh.
Okay. So just a note, if you are driving, do not get a clearing while you are driving because it can cause, on occasion, people to swerve. Okay. So,
Oh, that's why I pulled over right away.
okay, cool. All right. So are you willing to step out of the story that you have to make sure everyone else gets taken care of before you?
Yes. That was a hard one.
Are you willing to step out of the story that you are a bother to everyone else? Ow.
Yes.
Okay, that was more like a question. Yes.
I was just thinking, where's that story from? My mom.
Yeah. Okay. Are you willing to step out of her story that you're a bother to everyone else?
Yes.
Okay, that's interesting. So when you start to embrace the notion that you are a gift to everyone else rather than a bother, it's going to change your interaction with it.
Okay.
Okay. All right. Do you have a lot of value?
I want to say yes.
I know. Who taught you that you don't really have a lot of value?
I think I get it from my mom.
Okay. And that's interesting because it's a story she taught you, but it's her own story and you're buying her story about herself for you. So are you willing to step out of that story that you don't really have a lot of value?
Yes.
Okay. How's that feel?
The energy in my solar plex, that's where I normally feel it,
Mhm.
that it's moving.
Cool.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome. All right. Gurjeet. All right. Pressing all sorts of buttons here. There we go. How are you doing?
Yes, hi Shiraz. And something similar to what Arthur said is like I have like clients, certain months like there's plenty and certain months there's nobody. So it's like this up and down. And what I really would like, and you can see what's happening, what I really would like at least 20 to 25 clients consistently every month. Otherwise, I feel frustrated, very frustrated.
Okay. That's interesting. Would you have too much if you had 25 clients per month?
No, it wouldn't be too much.
Okay, that's not coming up true. Okay. So I know it feels like it's not going to be that too many clients, but would it be too much wealth and too much income?
Definitely, it would be a lot of income. Definitely.
Yep. Okay. Are you allowed to have that much income? When it takes this long to get it, no. Right?
That's the tricky part. That's tricky.
Yeah. So that's what's happening is that you're allowing enough clients to hit that threshold of how much money you're allowed to make. And when it starts to get a little bit high, you have to compensate by dropping the number of clients. And that's why you're getting this yo-yo effect. Every time you break through, you got to compensate and get rid of the clients. So what's wrong with having that much money?
I'm not used to it.
Okay.
I would love it, but I'm not used to it because all the money that I have, I'm currently earning from my job because I have a job and business. So it just goes into the bank. I never see it. And it just goes to the mortgage and, other things. It just goes off. So this money would be something that I would see and I would be able to use.
Okay.
And I haven't had that before.
Okay. So what would you use it on?
Um, yes, I don't want to say I'm not sure, but I think I would just collect it
Okay.
till it was a large sum where I
Mhm.
could then use it. That's
Okay.
what I feel.
Okay. So, ooh, tummy is gurgling. Okay, I'm gonna have to eat some. Oh, we're almost done anyway. Okay. So, is money only for using?
No, it's also for giving away,
Okay.
and yes, it's also for giving away. It's
Okay.
also for circulation.
Okay. But can you actually just have money?
Yes.
Okay. See, there's resistance there. So basically what's happening is you know what you're going to do with all your money. And so you're making enough money so that it gets used up and then you have nothing left. Right. And so if you don't have a purpose for that money that you want to make with those people, then you're not going to have that money show up. Right. And you can start making more money, but you'll probably say, oh, no, I'm just going to use the money to do this. I'll give it away, or I'll use it to do this. And then you still have no money, because the belief is that you can't have money. Your money is just for using for other things. And you can do both. You can have money and you can use money and you can spend money. So are you willing to destroy the belief that you're not allowed to just have money?
Yes.
Ooh. Ooh. Are you willing to destroy the belief that it's wrong and it's greedy to just have money?
Yes, because sometimes I do feel that.
Yeah. So if that feeling comes up that it's just people that are having a lot of money that hold on to a lot of money agree, some people are, some people aren't. They just have that money so they can do it with things later. So that need to not be greedy stops the money from showing up. Okay. And yeah, I'm one slightly different one. Are you willing to step out of the story that you should only make as much money as you need and nothing more?
Yes, I'm definitely willing to step out of that.
Okay. How's that feeling? Better, worse, same, or different?
There's a heaviness right just around like my belly button, a little lower. It's like really heavy.
Okay. So who taught you your money values?
My parents.
Will you be disrespecting them if you change your money beliefs?
I don't think now because they both passed on. So
Doesn't matter if they passed on or not. Your subconscious doesn't care. Will you be disrespecting them if you go against their beliefs?
in a way, yes, because they always taught me to work hard for the money. You have to work really hard and then you can make money.
Okay. So they taught you what they learned. That's all they could teach you. Okay. So when you realize that finding a better way is not disrespecting them, it's just, changing it and being in a different way, because deep down they wanted the best for you. They taught you to work hard so you could get the best for you, but they didn't realize you don't have to work hard and still have amazing things. So are you willing to destroy the belief that going against your parents' beliefs means disrespecting your parents?
Yes.
Okay, how's that feel?
That feels lighter. It's still there, but it definitely there's a shift.
Okay, good. That's going to let that process, and you'll see that just lightens up.
Thank you. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. All right, so I'm going to take a couple minutes to talk to you about something, and then I might have, depending on how the time goes, might have time for a little bit more after that. We'll see if throw a couple extra people in. So, there we are. All right, what just happened? Many of you have just gone from that smaller bowl into the bigger bowl. More possibilities, more potential. There's just new things that are going to start to show up in your life. And so, again, I just want to throw this out to you guys. If you felt shifts from as a result of me working on other people, if you felt those shifts, throw it into the chat now, throw it in on YouTube. Oof. Okay. There we go. I was getting worried. It was like stuck at 2. Only 2 people got shifts. Oh no. Okay. They're all coming in. Okay. So if you would like to feel more of these shifts on a regular basis, is that something you'd be interested in? And how much more would you like? How much of a bigger shift would you like? So this is what we've got going on right now. We're calling it the Entrepreneur Bootcamp. It's probably the Energetic Magic Entrepreneur Bootcamp, so it's not so generic. And it's running 8 weeks, and it's got 2 main components. Number 1 is weekly hour-ish belief shifting. I say hour-ish because anyone that works with me in a group session knows that we hit the hour and I tend to just keep going. So I'd say block off 90 minutes just to be safe. And what's it going to be like? You just experienced it. We just went an hour of belief shifting. So that's what it's like. That's what kind of changes are going to happen in that hour. There's also daily business teachings. There are 40 daily business teachings. So you're going to get 5 per week. And each of these things can take about an hour to take care of. You don't have to do them every day. You can let them build up, do it on the weekends, or just tackle them. But each of them is designed to help you create, implement, automate your business in an efficient, easy way. And just using these techniques, so you can just do it with the techniques, but it also points you to resources if you want to do it in a bigger way, whether you want to, it will give you people you can hire or programs you can buy or whatever, but every teaching on its own will work for you on its own, like by itself. And I've been going over these teachings. A lot of them have been created by Courtney. And in my networking with other people, I've seen people offer the daily teaching for up to $200 in their business. And you're going to get 40 of them. Okay. So the result, more joy in your business. The weekly topics, these should seem very familiar. Why you don't want, this is about success. Why do you don't want it? Why you can't have it? What people will think when you have it? What must you sacrifice? What will it take to have it? What will it do to you? And how will it affect, oh, there's one more. What happens after it? So each week we're going to go deep into these topics and clear it for the group. The goal, getting you freedom from your cage of beliefs. The daily lessons are around these topics. Discovering your business, getting your why, getting your purpose, getting your message out there, setting up your business so that you can actually make money, your digital storefront, your boss life so you don't have to be working hard all the time, dealing with the public, speaking engagements, workshops, things like that. Open for business, getting things in there so you can actually get a good funnel going, and position for growth, automation, webinars, all that stuff. It's all in here. And when you go to the landing page, you'll see like everything listed out in detail. So the goal is I want you to be like this guy. It's just easy when you know how. You can enjoy your business and just keep progressing, growing. There are 2 I got to change. This is actually going to be June 23rd. So here's the thing that just happened is we scheduled this webinar, and I was talking to one of my friends, and she said, "Oh my God, I'm working full time and I want to start a business. This sounds like a perfect webinar for me." And I'm like, "Okay, I'll see you at 1 o'clock on the 9th." And she goes, "I work full time. I can't come." And I'm like, "Oh shit, you're right. A lot of the people that want this are working at 1 o'clock in the afternoon." So this was supposed to start next week. What we're actually going to do is start it a week later, and we're going to do this again at 7 o'clock next week. And if you've paid to be a participant or a VIP for this session, you are automatically being put in that for the next session if you want to attend. So when you're in the actual boot camp, you can choose a 1 p.m. track or an 8 p.m. track, whichever is best for your schedule. We're going to do and you're going to get that hour to 90-minute session every single week. And here are the different levels. So the basic one is a student. You get the 40 lessons, you get into a Facebook group where there's going to be tech support for the lessons if you need it. Courtney will be there helping you out. I'll be in there checking out on you guys, and we're going to make sure you follow through, get those things implemented in your business and get your business running smoothly. And you get to watch one of the streaming sessions, just like the people that are on YouTube right now, or the people I didn't work on. You get to watch and get the shifts from those lessons, and you get the recordings, and you get to keep all that. And that's $397. As a participator, you get everything I just said, plus there's weekly office hours on the lessons, so you can get one-on-one contact. Rather than just talking Facebook, you can talk face-to-face, and there's this interface we've got set up that you can, it's neat. You can work with people and drag yourself on the screen so you can go to the person that's talking and then go off and talk to someone else on the screen and do all this cool interaction. So that's also going to help with weekly co-working, which is we're going to set hours aside each week where everyone can just gather and work together. And you can just come in and work and ask questions, or you can just say, this is what I'm going to do over the next little while, and then go do it and then come back and check in with people. So you're all keeping each other accountable in your businesses as you're making these changes, building it, improving it, whatever it is. And you get to participate like the people I work with. And because I want to make sure there's a lot of participation, everyone gets their value, only 15 people per stream, so that I can get as many people in each 90 minutes as possible, and everyone gets their questions answered week after week after week. And if you take this option, we have a VIP session coming up at 3:30. You are automatically going to be put into that. Conversely, if you've paid for the VIP and you're interested in this, you're going to get a coupon for $100 off that price because you're already in VIP. And the last one is, I've lost my mouse. There we go. I can move that out of the way. Is the accelerator. And this is everything I just told you about, except you get both recordings, so you can pick up on the clearings from the other group if you're not, because you're not going to be in both. But the last thing we're throwing in there is a coaching program I'm just trying out right now, and it's on-demand sessions for 6 months. And how this works is I do Monday to Thursday coaching with people on a regular basis. With this package, you get everything, and then this thing kicks in at the end of the boot camp. And I start working with you. You book a 15-minute session on, say, Monday. We work through whatever issues going on. And then once we're done, you get to book another 15-minute session on Tuesday, and then Wednesday and Thursday. And as long as you can only book one session at a time, so you can't just book up my calendar. But I may give you homework because this is about taking action too. And if I give you homework, you cannot book your session until you've done the homework. And I'm not going to give you homework that takes weeks and weeks, so I just see you once every few weeks. But this is to get you motivated, get you moving, clear out the blocks, and make you take action. This program on its own is $2,500. I've just thrown it in there, $3,000 when you add it with the other one. So this is a big thing. And only 5 people per stream on this, because I don't work with a lot of people on this. So at the most, there's going to be 20 people in each stream. We'll see how it goes. And you can see the value that's going on. Just the lessons alone are worth probably $1,000+ and you're getting them for $400. Throw in the reality shifting session, and you can see the value in this. Now, there are some fast action bonuses. The first 15 students, that's the lowest level, will get a a code so you can get into one of my free Saturday, not free, my $300 Saturday classes for free. And the 3 ones that are coming up during this boot camp are the leadership one this Saturday, the money one next month, and the momentum one to build momentum in your life and your business that's going on in August. If you want to be a participant, then the first 10 to book get a 1-hour session with me, and I charge $800 for that. We're going to add that in for you. And if you want the accelerator, then you get 2 of the Saturday classes and the reality shifting session. So we're going to keep track of people purchasing. I guess I should probably put the link in there. So if you're ready for business, here's what I was talking about. We're going to do it again next week. So June 16th at 7 p.m., we're going to do this workshop again. Bring your friends and win prizes. We're going to give you a link, and we're going to see, we track how much the link is shared, and you can win a whole bunch of prizes, which includes the grand prize is worth $1,500. It includes $500 gift certificate, which you can use towards these programs, $100 Amazon gift certificate, and some, I can't remember, free monthly magic and coaching with me. So there's a whole bunch of things that are involved in there. And here's the other thing. If you sign up now, next Monday at this time, because I know you can be free at this time, we're throwing in an extra boot camp session. So if you consider this week 1, that's going to be week 2, and then you get 8 weeks. You're actually getting 8 weeks of this boot camp to change your mindset and get your business going. So here are the prize. I actually listed the prizes. Okay, so if 5 or more people sign up, and this is for the free thing, if they sign up for free, if you're not a participant now, you'll get upgraded to a participant. If 25 or more sign up, you get VIP automatically. And here are the prizes. So from $10 all the way up to $500 gift certificate for anything energetic magic, and the combined Amazon gift cards are $100, plus the session, plus the month of magic. That's everything. So I'm going to, well, I don't have it. So Courtney, could you please put the link in the chat, and we'll send it out to YouTube as well. And that's what's going on. It is 3:02. I will actually, we got a little bit of time. I want to take a break before we get to the VIPs. If you want to be a VIP, go sign up. We're going to have a very private session. There's only a few people signed up, which is actually what I wanted. So I put a lot of focus on you guys. But I will take on 1 or 2 more people. Let's start with Mark. Here we go.
Hey, order of operations. You didn't have to search for me. Cool.
Okay.
So there's a part of me that really wants to start doing more work with clients, and yet I'm not. There's a part of me that really wants to take on more responsibilities with teaching, and yet I can't get the email out of the drafts folder and send it off. And I'm at a loss as to what the block is.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you do it, does the business become real?
Oh, maybe. Okay.
Do you want the business to become real?
Yes.
That was mostly a yes.
Uh-huh. It's that mostly part that I'm working on, I believe.
Okay. So what's the reason you don't want to have this business?
I can't think of one. Oh, you know what? There's the one. That's interesting. Taxes.
Okay.
That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Oh, because the more money you make, the more taxes you're gonna have to pay.
Actually, I don't mind the paying the taxes.
Okay.
This is a block around doing the paperwork.
Okay.
That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah, you've had issues with taxes in the past.
Yes, and I continue to have those issues. They're still,
Okay. That's a wonderful story to be, isn't it?
it is a fabulous thing. Yeah.
Okay. So the business will only add to those already present tax story issues.
Yep.
Okay, so are you willing to step out of the story that you have to hold back on the business so that you don't have more tax issues?
Yes.
Do you like to be at odds with the government?
No.
Yeah, it's not coming up true.
Uh-huh. That's
Okay.
interesting. I should get my protest sign and start picketing. Okay, interesting.
Well, for you, it's more like, oh, they're telling me this about taxes. We're going back and forth with taxes. This isn't going. And it may not be government directly, but there's this energy of this is all their fault because of these taxes.
Yeah, yeah, okay.
Okay, so are you willing, are you willing to step out of the story that you are always at odds with the government?
Yes.
Are you willing to give up that fix you get anytime you win one of those encounters with the government?
Yes.
Okay. Feels a little lighter. Truth, do you need to be the hero?
No.
That didn't come up true. Are you willing to step out of the story that you need to be the hero?
Yes.
Okay, how's that feel?
Yeah, words, like a big column of something just opened.
Cool.
Yeah, that was really cool.
All right.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. All right. I gotta get some food. Let me think. We'll go Janice and then call it a day. What did I just do? Oh, I replaced her instead of added her. Okay, hang on. I've got to add me back. There we go.
Okay, are we playing the unmute game? I think we are.
Okay.
Every time I tried to unmute, it would stop. Okay. So, my business is really actually starting to go good. Things are happening. Things are going my way. I'm trying to work more in LinkedIn. I'm finding I'm having trouble maneuvering through it. And yesterday, this little thing came up and said, do a 30-second 30-second presentation about your business. And so I set up the light and I got everything going. And it took me a few times to get through because I would end up messing up and then deleting it. And this went on for a while. And then I finally got one that was really good and decent and, you know, worthwhile keeping. And so it was there. And then I just got up, went to the washroom because I had spent a lot of time doing this. I came back, it was gone. The whole thing that said you can do the 30-second, that was gone. I couldn't find it again. It was like, come on, I just spent like a half an hour doing this, and then it all disappeared.
Okay.
It was so frustrating. And I find with LinkedIn, I'm having those problems.
Okay. Do you want to be on LinkedIn?
I thought I did.
Okay.
Obviously, I'm not sure.
Okay. So, wow. Who's on LinkedIn, in your opinion?
I think more the business people on LinkedIn, or more, I guess better quality is the word I'm trying to use.
Okay.
They you know, seem to have it together more.
Okay. Are they going to want your services?
Deep down inside of me, I say yes, because there's a lot of people that are having problems with porn addictions and not being able to have relationships and that type of stuff. So I, deep down inside, I believe that yes, they will. It doesn't matter if they're making more money, then, you know, they still will have those same problems.
Okay. Are they going to judge you more?
Yeah.
There it is.
Yes, they will.
Okay. So if you're worried about that judgment, you're going to make sure you don't get those posts up on LinkedIn.
Right.
When you stop giving a crap about the judgment, you can just post whatever you want, and the people that align to you will go, there's Janice, I need to work with her.
Right.
So are you willing to step out of the story that you have to do whatever you can to avoid being judged on LinkedIn?
Yes.
And keep this in mind. If you stop worrying about what other people are going to think about you, how they're going to judge you, then you stop encountering those kinds of people. When I first started out, because of what I do, people would be like, oh, you do what? Oh, you're like one of those woo-woo, you're airy fairy, whatever. And now when I talk about it, no one bats an eye. It's just like the people that I encounter just align. Like, oh my God, let me check that out. Right. So, and it's just because I'm in that different space where there's no resistance. So I don't see the resistance anymore in my life.
Right. Yes.
Okay. Okay. How's that feel?
That feels better. Yeah. Like even in my, the 10% club that we're in, like sometimes we'll go into the breakout rooms and I'll tell people what I'll do, and I'll see the look on their face like this deer in the headlight. What is she talking about? She's talking about sex. Oh my God. And it really, you know, I can see it. I'm making them feel uncomfortable, and that makes me feel uncomfortable.
Yeah, but your story is I make people feel uncomfortable, so they get uncomfortable, and then you react to that uncomfortability, and you're like, see, there it is, and you just loop it around.
You're right.
Right? You could start talking about sex. People are like, oh, this is the sex room. Wait, I picked the right room to be in. Okay.
True. I want those people. I want those people in my room.
So when you're fully aligned to what you do and you recognize the value that it's going to have for everyone that gets it, that sees you, then you're going to end up naturally in those rooms where people are like, we're in Janice's room. She's going to talk about sex. Come on, guys, listen to this bitch. This is great.
Yeah, you're right.
Sure.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. New attitude.
Thank you.
You're welcome. All right, that's it for now. VIPs, I will see you in 15 minutes. Thank you for coming out to this. Again, we'll be back next week. And if you are a participant, well, even if you're a viewer, you can come view it next week at 1 o'clock. If you're a participant, you're back in here. If you're a VIP, you're back in here. And then we're going to do another one tomorrow at 8 o'clock. And you're welcome to come to that next week. So have fun, have an amazing week. I hope these shifts make a big impact, even if I don't see you again. And be well, be aware, and be magical.